Diaries of a Madman. Written by What Must I Do? Chapter 12. Aftermath. Part 3. Long story short, I extricated myself from the treasury at a dead run, followed by a string of curses that seemed odd to hear coming from a pony. Apparently that certain pony also forgot to tell anyone else where I was, as I wandered upon a search party combing the castle for me a bit later. When we couldn't find you in any of the palace libraries or any of the other locations with books, or any of the guest rooms, we really started to worry, one of the servants said. Yeah, some jokester took my meaning of asking a room full of books as meaning a treasury record room. A jokester I mean to hurt if I can find again. Princess Celestia is waiting for you. Please follow us. I did. Princess Celestia was waiting in the same sitting room. Thank goodness you found him. Go tell the rest of the search parties that they can return to their normal duties. When they had bowed and exited, she looked at me. Sit, Nav. We need to talk. Oh shit. I walked over to the chair closest to the couch and sat, not feeling overly comfortable at all. Look, if this is about... I started, before being cut off. No, we're going to talk about my sister first. What happened last night? What did you say to her and what did she say to you? She accidentally admitted to enchanting the monster to attack me, I think. I already know that much. What else? Oh god, this really is bad. We were talking about my conversation with you. I didn't know if she was trying to pry me for details about what I told you or if she was just making conversation. Something clicked and then... Wait, what do you mean you knew? In a minute. What else did you talk about? We were just... joking around. What's this about? I asked, slowly growing very worried. She sighed, rubbing gently at her face for a second before saying, Luna is a little beyond having a crush on you. To that end, she spent the entire festival trying to impress you. Apparently, if she had failed to entice you on the Ferris wheel, her plan was to summon the beast that she had enchanted beforehand to attack you, then save you from it, and hope you were grateful enough to give her a chance. She didn't think you would be in any danger, since she could just remove it whenever she needed to. Then she failed to protect you. Apparently, when you were speaking last night, you said something that made her think you knew, which terrified her. And then, in some kind of jealous fit, she tried to assassinate Rainbow Dash. The Moonlight Butterfly is a kind of night creature that only Luna or the most powerful of magic users can control. I suspect the god you saw last night was positioned to make sure Rainbow Dash didn't make it. After he disappeared, he reported to Luna that the attempt had failed, and instead of targeting Rainbow Dash, it had almost targeted you. She was rather distraught and immediately saw herself to my chambers, where she confessed all of this to me. She's sitting in my quarters still, crying her eyes out. This puts us all in a very... awkward position. She was silent for a few minutes, letting that sink in. It was... a lot to take, and it sounded like a fucking drama flick. Unrequited love, a botched murder attempt that almost took out the love interest, a young, naive princess falling in love with a common monster. I looked up at Celestia. What the fuck is wrong with this place? I wish I could tell you. Now, I need to know some things. First, do you know why she might be jealous of Rainbow Dash? I nodded slowly, putting some pieces together in my mind. I have a suspicion, I said, leaning back and cursing my fucking wings. For one, Rainbow Dash is the one that ruined Luna's attempt to save me, which means, of course, she was trying to save me as well. To Luna, that might mean competition. And when I first met Luna, I had been doing an experiment with Rainbow Dash and Applejack. I may have mentioned that I learned a few interesting secrets about Rainbow Dash, but I didn't expound on what they were. It's so long ago I don't even remember anymore.
Luna may have just been trying to eliminate a rival to what she conceived as her position on my list of people that I love. Come to think of it though, Big Macintosh said she didn't want a stallion. We didn't say specifically that she wanted a mare instead. It was possible, but very, very unlikely that Rainbow Dash also loved me. I don't believe it, but the way this day's going, who knows?
It fits with what she told me, sadly. And you said you don't care for her that way.
I do not love her. I saw her as a friend. She's a horse. What the hell is wrong with this place? She smiled at that.
I don't know if I should feel insulted by that or not, but it still leaves us with a problem.
I know. I'm worried, Celestia. If we don't handle this, well, I'm fucked. A princess with unrequited love? That can end in a few ways. The lover gets over it. The lovers obsesses in silence until they die. The lover obsesses aloud or in poetry. Or the lover kidnaps the love interest and holds them captive until Stockholm Syndrome takes over and they're loved back. That didn't happen often. But then, it isn't often that a princess with magic falls in love with someone without magic. If this doesn't end right, we might all think this is blown over and then one day I disappear and can never be found again.
Relax, Nav. That won't happen. One way or another, I'll imprison her until you die of old age before I let her kidnap some pony and force them to love her against their will.
I was somewhat relieved by that, but also sad at the thought that I might come to that.
Now,
She continued,
I want your opinion. How do you think this should be handled?
I thought. Who all knows that Luna tried to murder Rainbow Dash?
Me, you, Luna, and the guard.
How trustworthy is a guard?
3rd generation. He'll do whatever he's told without question.
There are a few problems in saying we just pretend this whole thing never happened. It'll give Luna hope that I return her feelings. And if we do pretend it never happened, it'll make this kind of behavior seem okay. I don't envy the stallion she'll eventually properly fall in love with if he doesn't return her feelings. How can we show her that attempted murder is not okay, while at the same time making sure as few people know about this as possible? And make sure she knows that I don't love her without either pissing her off enough to kidnap me, or grieving too terribly.
I want to see what you come up with. I have a solution in mind, but it is you who was targeted, so it is only fair that you would be allowed input. But imprisonment is an option, yes.
Not a very good one. The people would never accept her back if they found out why she was being imprisoned, and you just know someone would be asking the question. Dodging the question or lying would backfire, as I'm sure there are only so many crimes a royal princess could do that would warrant exile. I would prefer this ended with all parties reasonably pleased with what they get.
What if Luna was willing to become a human?
She asked, perhaps spurring me in a certain direction. A direction that stumped me for a moment. I have a few problems with that. Wouldn't that bring a lot of awkwardness on the royal family?
Yes, but I'm willing to deal with awkwardness in order to make you both happy.
Oh. Is the transformation permanent?
It could be reversed. Apparently she's tested it a few times. She was going to surprise you with it last night before she fled.
That sounded ominous, in a few ways. I find myself objecting to the idea of lumps stemming only from appearances. I think that if it was a person someone deserved in terms of love, I would accept them for who they are, and not have to force them to adapt to my standards. Why is this any different?
To be honest, that's exactly the answer I expected from you. And philosophically, I am pleased to hear it. However, in terms of the situation, this puts us in a bad spot. Do you have any other suggestions?
This is a bad, bad idea. You could kill me. The pervading silence was very awkward, to say the least.
And what
She finally asked.
would that solve?
You wouldn't do the killing yourself, mind. The guard that knows Luna ordered the attack would be best, so she would hate him for it instead of you. I can't believe I'm actually suggesting this. Think about it. With me dead, there are now 3 people that know about this, and none of the 3 of them will ever make any mention of it. The god will very likely end up dead soon after, or find himself reassigned. Sucks for him, boo-hoo. That's what he gets for not abiding by the Nuremberg principles. Luna will grieve, but she'll get over it eventually. Her anger at Rainbow Dash will end since there's no reason for her to be a threat anymore.
That still leaves her going unpunished for the crimes of attempted murder, and will have a murderous guard on the staff.
Have the guard put to death then. If he follows 2 orders to murder, he's not safe to have around. And if you put the guard to death for murder, Luna will never suspect you of having ordered my death. Console her in her grief and tell her that you think she's been punished enough. She'll buy it, because you're a merciful leader and a good sister.
That is a perfect solution, but for one issue. I am not going to order some pony murdered.
I'm hardly a pony, but... I let out a breath that I didn't realize I had been holding. I'm not going to say I'm disappointed.
I would be worried if you were,
She said dryly.
Now, any other ideas?
I could think of one more thing to try, but it's hardly perfect. How often does Luna leave the castle?
Every now and then to see you, but otherwise she's usually here.
Forbid her from leaving at all, besides a few state functions that it would be noticed if she wasn't there. Attempted murder where I come from has a sense of like 5 years or something. There's a chance that at the end of that sentence, she'll have forgotten her love for me. But there's also just as much of a possibility that she'll come up with me in her foremost in her mind. God, there's just no good way to do this. We thought for a while until I gave up with a sigh. Princess, if you honest to God truly believe the best solution would be admitting love to Luna, I can lie. I don't like the idea of it, and you don't like the idea of it. But what else can we do?
Does the number 7 have any meaning to you?
What?
Any symbolic meaning at all?
Yes? Why?
I have an idea. A mix between my original one and yours. Luna is confined to the city of Canterlot for a full 7 years, unless there's an extremely important reason for her to be elsewhere. And in the first year, she is forbidden to see you unless not doing so is impossible. I'll need a promise from you, however.
Name it. I sighed, dreading what it might be.
That if you don't find somebody else and she doesn't lose interest in you, you'll give a relationship with her a chance.
That works well enough for me. I don't like promising myself away like that, but it's sadly the best choice. I will miss spending time with her, but I prefer not getting attacked by any more freaky monsters. As long as she abides by it, I'm willing to accept that.
Excellent. I shall tell her the news immediately, then get her to her room, and I'll have somebody escort you back to Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash. I will give you 3 a nice breakfast and then send you back to Ponyville. I'm sure you're feeling tired after your night in this news.
Yeah. I wasn't really feeling hungry either, but I at least tried to humor her. She let out a slow breath before nodding.
I have had to do this much damage control since Luna tried to rebel the last time.
This is my first time dealing with something like this. Hopefully it'll be my last. I hate dealing in politics. It's usually easy since people are so stupid, but sometimes shit like this comes up and it just blows up in everyone's face.
Wait here for a moment.
She walked over to the door, opened it, and stuck her head out. I could hear her say something to someone outside, but I had no idea what it was. When she came back in and flopped back into the couch.
Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash will be sent to my private dining room. You'll join them in a few minutes. But I would like to take a moment to unwind. So tell me, Do you think Rainbow Dash actually has feelings for you?
Ugh. While I was surprised to hear that Luna loved me, I would be absolutely and 100% shocked if Rainbow Dash did. I think I know who she's interested in, and it's not me.
Gossip seems like a good way to unwind. Do tell.
I was committed now, and revealed what Applejack and I discovered back at the farm. In case Rainbow Dash somehow got her hooves on this, I'll leave my suspicions unprinted. She'll already defame my name enough if she reads what we really did to her at that barn, but I don't need her digging my body up and abusing it on top of everything else.
And she doesn't even suspect.
Susty asked, smiling.
I never would have guessed. Anything else?
Spock likes Rarity, and I'm pretty sure she knows and is just using him for free labor. Fluttershy would like to be a tree. Pinkie Pie is probably manic depressive. Nothing really that juicy or interesting. I don't gossip much with them.
Oh, come now. You lived with Twilight for almost a year now. You have nothing to show for that?
Alright. But don't ever tell her I said this. I'll also leave this unprinted because I don't trust Twilight's magic to not find a way to revive me and then kill me again, in a more painful manner. And if I'm not dead, well, fuck me. I hope whoever is reading this doesn't like the idea of blackmail. When I finished, Susty was quiet for a minute. I honestly thought I went too far for a second, until she burst out laughing.
No way! Just no way. Are you sure?
As sure as I can be without actually asking her. Yep. And there is no way in hell I will be doing that. And you won't either, because she'll wonder how you found out, and then you don't tell her, and then she finds out that we were talking alone for several hours. She'll put two and two together. If she ends up beating me for that, I'll find a way to get back at you, princess or not.
I believe it, and I can understand why. I never thought. Wow. And you never once thought to move?
And where else am I gonna go? Fluttershy lives in a small cottage full of animals. Rainbow Dash lives in a mansion in the sky. Pinkie Pie and Rarity? Hell no. Applejack, maybe, but I always hated working on a farm. And before, when living here with you and Luna might have been an option, it would have been separated me from the only other people I ever knew here. That isn't an option anymore, though, so yeah.
Well, it could be an option. You always have the option of canceling this little deal and giving Luna a chance now.
It's a damn shame it even came to this. I honestly didn't think... I'm still used to human women, you see. My culture, everyone there grows so desensitized to stuff like I was saying to her. The little flirty remarks. I never once imagined that it would turn into this.
I understand, Navarone, and I don't blame you, really. I should have noticed some of the warning signs. She started acting strange not so long after she met you, and left more and more of her royal duties undone in order to visit you.
But I don't really understand why she fell for me. I mean, I'm at least 1,000 years younger than she is.
The only thing near our age are dragons, Nav,
She said.
And the heart is not picky with whom it picks.
But I'll die in like 70 years anyways, if I even last that long. You just keep on trucking, living who knows how much longer.
Not necessarily. There are ways of extending life.
Now that got my attention.
As with anything in nature, though, it involves a sacrifice. One lifeline for another, basically. It's old magic, dark and nearly forgotten, and there are ways of abusing its stipulations, but there are always costs. I wouldn't want anybody to lose their lives for it, though.
Has she really never thought of this? So we'll use a fucking tree. Hell, those live forever and easily replaced.
Luna and I have thought about it,
She slowly said, nodding.
but as I said, there are always costs and pitfalls. It's not as an easy problem to solve as it seems. But in a pinch, such a solution would do.
Hell, I can't imagine I would want to live forever anyway. Sure, you get to live forever, but at what cost? To see eons pass? To see everyone I knew wither and die, to watch civilizations grow and crumble, to watch trends disappear as fast as they appear, to one day lose myself to the passing of millennia, and then finally to have a massive memorial service for one of the deathless giants. To you, who has lived it, is it worth it?
For me, who had no choice in the matter, yes. I do watch my friends die. Yes. And every time I look upon them, it seems like they have changed, while I remain the same. But, and this is a very important but, I have the memories of all the happy times with them. I am old, Nav. Very, very old. I have seen all of what you have said. I can't lie. I miss my lost friends, but I don't regret their passing and my living. For a long time after my sister betrayed me, I stayed completely aloof from everyone. I ruled in near silence, not trusting any pony around me. For almost 150 years, I was like that. I look back in all of my life, that is one of my biggest regrets. For me, who was forced into this life, it was worth it. For you, who have seen less than 20 summers and are more just that mature, it might not be. And when you are spending that life in the company with some pony you don't love, it would be unbearable.
I don't dislike Luna. I just don't love her. I have at least 7 years to decide. I will think on it. And I will mention it to no one. Of course, anyone reading my journal will find out about it, so it's a good thing no one is reading this. Right? Right? Unless I'm still alive and I'm just lying about this conversation to find out whoever is reading my journals, you assholes. We shared a small silence for a few seconds before I asked, what should I tell Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy?
This little visit of you three you made wasn't supposed to take long anyway. I'll just tell them that Luna felt unwell and was weary this morning, so she couldn't join us for breakfast. I will be slightly late to arrive at the dining room, so tell them I went to make sure she was feeling better.
Easy enough. Should I go ahead and go now?
Indeed. Let's go and I'll find somebody to escort you.
I followed her out and followed the servant she sent to guide me, all in silence. My mind was too busy running laps, trying to process all that had happened, all that was just said. God, why me of all people? What an interesting talk with Celestia, especially about the perils of immortality. And the idea of, like, born into it is different than being, I assumed, afflicted with it. It's an interesting perspective, and I did enjoy it, despite sometimes this fix conversations are hit or miss, but this one was really good and I enjoyed it. What else I enjoy is thank you my wonderful Patreons. Thank you my tier 1s, Bounce, Kindness, Chase, Lemaster, Dreamless, Portal, Hyperlink, Jason, HH4, Texture, Lord Heim, Minicario, Night and Game, Pony Entertainment, Starlight Blaze, Brain Flicker, and Tyler Perry. My tier 2s, Captain Blue Shadow, Chaotic Mist, The Animated Ghost, DJMax 2000, Elemental Wolf, 81 Wolf King, Potato 20, Mr. Crazy Deacon, Solar Comet, 212th Trooper, Mackenzie McColas, Nocturne, Papa Lennon, Redeemer of Dark, Solus Eclipse, Sword Brother Morted, RD Bryant, Rihanna Dragonwolf, and Steel Spark. A big thank you to my previous Titan tiers, Dark Guardian, Danish Dash, Maverick, and User 1842. A large thank you to my current ones, Bis Eclipse, and Silent Titan. I appreciate your guys' support so freaking much, and it means a ton to me. That aside, however, this has been Firehearth. Have a wonderful day.